I'm Wes Taylor, America's general contractor. Together, we're bridging the gap between homeowners and their homes. It's what we do every Saturday morning here at 8 o'clock. And with us also today in the guy who's really driving this ship, I'm kind of the gas in the tank, is Ruben. Ruben, how are you this morning? You ready?
I am very well.
You look good. You know, after we got off the air last week, Ruben said, hey, you got a second? We had a little meeting, which we kind of needed to do. I said, good, I'm fired. Great, thanks.
Not quite.
Not yet. You get 15 more minutes, and then we're going to rip you off the air. That's it.
Nah.
And
I'll keep you on as long as you keep doing well, brother.
Okay, my brother. Well, Ruben is. I get, as those of you who know me, and a lot of people who are learning who I am, I've got a nickname for everybody. And I think George Bush 43 was sort of the same way. I'm not saying that he and I are similar in many other ways, but
okay.
Ruben said, here's how I sort of see this thing going. And now, keep in mind, a producer can just be somebody sitting back there punching buttons. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, they call those people board operators.
Yeah, that's a board operator. A producer sees the body of the work from somewhat of an aerial perspective and looks down and says, look, and each case is different. Each talker is different. Each format is different. But if we do it this way, and I thought, all the years that I've been on the air, going way back to, 2012, I guess, with Remodel America, Jay Barbera, and then the legendary Devin O'Day. This is the way that I see that it should have always gone. And I realized at that time, not only do I not have a nickname for you, but you're the greatest production. I've been in the music business. I've been everywhere. And commercials, television. You're the best coaching producer I've ever known.
Well, hey, I appreciate it. I think somebody put a shot of something in that drink over there in yours, but hey.
Yeah, it was me.
Okay. Okay. As long as you did it, then it's all right, I guess.
You guys, producing Right at Home Radio is the legendary Ruben Sabin.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow. You got me. You got me with that one.
Of course I did.
You got me.
That's what I do, Ruben. And I thought it's always a first name. And I thought, well, I don't have Hot Shot, I don't know what to call you. I said Ruben James. Well, that's a stupid song by somebody. The guy with all the Mr. T starter set and the bottle of booze in one hand and the gut in the other. And I thought, Sabin, that's your new name.
You got me. That's all I can say.
Ruben is, as I tell you, Ruben's about 6'5", 6'6", 6% body fat, about 345. And I'm looking at his neck and his head is getting bigger.
Just give or take a day, that 6% body fat.
It's so good to be back on the air with you all here on a very chilly Saturday morning, but it's going to be a great day. I don't promise it. Somebody could run an airplane into a building for sure. But I don't think so. The sky's blue, and there's a big marathon outside, so usually I pull in, you get your security, go through here, and you pull your car up and your truck or whatever. And so today, it's a park like miles away, and we had to put like these little running shirts on with a little number to get in here. We had to jog with everybody.
Oh, for real?
Yeah, I had like 5K.
Like in the wingtips?
Yes.
Wow.
We cover a lot of ground in this show. We've got a few minutes left in this first segment because everything I've talked about so far is so extremely valuable. So today is going to be a very interesting show. And before we go there, I want to tie up a loose end from last week, and it's related to the rental property business. Yes, I cover everything: house, home, quality of life, how you do things that nobody ever told you. It's all in my new book, Bridging the Gap Between Homeowners and Their Homes by Wes Taylor, America's general contractor. And it was related to the rental property business. And I got a couple emails related to this. And a lot of people avoid the rental property business because of the horror stories. And I did for a long time because my dad had a lot of rental property. And I saw the hell that he would go through. And most of it was commercial. And there's a lot of things about going into the rental business that you'd need to know because, guys, this is a business, okay? And we, as humans, we're emotional, and we make decisions emotionally. When it comes to business, I simply don't. I've never cried over losing a property to somebody else. I've celebrated over getting one, but not too much. I want to wait till the house is built, we're finished, and everything's sold. Then I can go to Tahiti, whatever we want to do. Then we'll celebrate. By the way, Ruben, my laptop just I think it's frozen here. I've got a thumb drive. Whose laptop is this next to me here?
That's my laptop. That's my work laptop.
Can I? I got a thumb drive. Do you care if I borrow it?
Well,
I'm just putting a thumb drive in there. It's just going to just 3 more segments.
Okay, Wes. All right. Go ahead.
All right, hold on. Everybody, sorry to do this in front of everybody. Let me thumb drive. There we go. Oh, it's good. It's already up. Let me open my thumb drive. Nothing's happening.
Wes.
Yeah.
Take it easy on the mouse pad. You're gonna break something over there.
No, I got this, dude. I've had laptops for years. I know what I'm doing. It's just nothing's happening. Let me press it again.
No, it was working fine.
Well, it's not now. It's broken, I think.
I think you broke it.
Dude, I think when I opened it was broken. I think this is on you, not me.
No, you can't hit the mouse pad like that.
All right, I'll tell you what. If I broke it, I got the name of a guy who sells used laptops, and I'll just give you his number. You good?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. All right, everybody. That was a legendary role play, Emmy Award winning that I wanted to run by you. I wanted to. This is what today's show is about. What you just saw was me borrowing a laptop, okay, from a colleague who's also a friend, and he said sure. So I opened it up and I pressed to go to open my thumb drive, and it wasn't opening. So I hit it again. And then I hit it again and again. And he said, whoa, dude, please, hey, it's my computer here. That's my work computer. Take it easy. And I'm telling him it's broken. He says, it wasn't broken. I'm saying, well, it was broken. Now what do? Okay. Now we enter a lot of dynamics, mostly related to psychology. Okay. If I'm a really good attorney, I can make a compelling argument that what he handed me was a broken computer. If I'm another attorney, I can make a compelling argument that when Mr. Taylor opened the thing up, he mishandled it and he broke it. Right? I've got 2 facts. The first fact is I borrowed the laptop. That's a fact. You heard it. The second fact is that he agreed and said yes. Those are the only 2 facts we have. Everything after that point doesn't really matter. We're going to have to resolve this somehow. We might be neighbors. We might be family. All right, so as we wind down the first quarter, that's what today's show is going to be about. And it's called Lending and Borrowing Tools. There's out there in different markets, those markets are like WOHI, KTRH. And by the way, Michael Berry is coming back to the 5 o'clock drive time. So that's going to make a real competition between us and our competition, having Michael Berry back on. He's one of the best talk show hosts in the world, I think. And he's also a friend. And I believed that before we were friends. So a lot of you would agree with me there. I've met Garth Brooks multiple times.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Guy, serious. I know I joke about, you're 9'12" and Derrick Henry's,
Oh, I thought you really felt.
No,
so,
he's really.
So
he's
really
not 6'5". He's like 6'4.5". So.
Oh, okay.
But Garth Brooks he is built basically like an NFL fullback. His thighs, solid muscle, are bigger than my waist.
Wow.
And he is a nice man. He's a very. I can tell my story when we have more time. Sometime I'll tell you my stories about meeting him. What an amazing memory, amazing businessman. Well, yeah, it's just an act. Oh, really? You met him? No, but I can tell. Oh, you can.
Yeah. Not one of those.
Yeah, but thanks for the bumper music. And by the way, I was getting back into a little ADD. Squirrel, we've got some listeners in News Radio 850 KOA territory in Denver. That's a big blowtorch out of the Rockies. That's where I'm originally from, though I was born in the South and I will die in the South. And they're big Waylon fans. We're all big Waylon fans. You've got my permission to play anything you'd like. I completely trust you.
Anything?
See me in my office after we get off the air,
Okay.
Reuben, please, would you?
Okay.
Thanks so much.
Yeah.
God bless you. Do come back. So today we are talking about lending and borrowing tools. Okay, we set it up in the beginning. I borrowed something from Reuben. There's a case that maybe I broke it while I was using the laptop. It's a case that he handed me a broken laptop. The only facts that matter are I borrowed it, he lent it to me. Those are the only 2 facts in the deal. Then I talked about a biggie. I started the whole thing off with my truck. Hey, could we borrow the truck? It's just a truck. And I stopped doing that because it was always coming back empty. bed covered in mud. Well, it's just a truck. Well, if it's just a truck, they can just go out and just buy one, just. And that's why that word just, you're at a work site and you got your guys really grooving and they come and say, hey, could you just, it's real easy. It'll only take you a second. Well, if it's that easy and it's only going to take me a second, then you do it. Isn't that how it works? Dentist, while you're in there, could you just pull that other tooth and put a cap on it and give me some new teeth? Just. It's like the word bid. We've talked about that. Some of my hot buttons talked about cheaping out. So I'm giving you this example of the truck because that's an expensive item, and I might remember. Oh, this is a great one. When you borrow that truck, you're responsible, or a tool, anything. You're responsible for it. You hit somebody, you knock something over. Well, you got insurance. Yeah, I got insurance. What are you doing driving my truck in a manner in which somebody's going to get injured or hurt, or what? Or you what? You drank really, and destroyed my truck. Well, insurance will take care of that. Plus, you're rich. Oh, really? Thanks. I wish I'd known that. It's like gun safety. I shoot quite a bit. I've got a nice selection of firearms. I know how to use them. I know everything there is to know about handling firearms, and I do it correctly. Every bullet in that gun I am responsible for. My fingerprints are on it. I bought it, and I load it. That's why I handle with extreme caution. Okay? I know not to just give it to an actor and then he lifts the thing up, points it at somebody, and shoots them. Got kind of quiet there. Everybody's laughing. I see it. Yeah, that was funny. Not really. So here's where we get into, okay, just a truck. You're going to replace it. $70,000, $80,000 truck. That's okay. It's just a truck. I had a neighbor, and I love all my neighbors. I like this guy. We were exceptionally close. And he met me in the drive and said, can I borrow? Let's call him Steve. Steve, that's a good name. I like the name Steve. And he said, hey, can I borrow a ladder? And at first I'm thinking, well, absolutely, because I've got every ladder there is. Remember, I'm the tool rental place. And I'm thinking, yeah, well, he's a trust fund guy. I've never seen him work on anything. He's just maybe a little step ladder to change a light bulb on the front porch. I said, sure, Steve. What are you going to do with it? This is critical. Y'all listen now. I know you're driving and looking at the girl in the car next to you, and, dude, you just try to cherry from your cigarettes down in your lap. Listen, what are you going to use it for, Steve? And he said, well, the back gutter's coming off. It's full of junk and leaves, and I got to put it back on there. So I look over into that backyard. I'll never forget it. Saturday afternoon. That thing's 25 feet in the air. Okay, 25. That's 2.5 stories. Everybody has what's called, and I write about it in the book, a freeze altitude. Okay, I have a freeze altitude. Best friend Chuck Gann, a great builder, heating and air guy. Chuck, if you're listening, how are you, brother? He has no freeze altitude. He can literally climb 35,000 feet on a rope, hands free. Some people are like that. I've got a freeze altitude of about 25 to 23 feet, and the older I get, the lower that altitude becomes. What is Steve's freeze altitude? Remember, he's wanting to borrow what's called an extension ladder, not an A-frame, an extension ladder. He's going to put this thing, stretch it out 25 feet, 3 feet hanging over, so that's 28 feet, 30-foot ladder. No, we're on an angle. He's going to borrow my 40-foot ladder. I've got a guy who has no musculature whatsoever, doesn't own a ladder. I don't know if he's got experience. He's going to climb to 25 feet with his feet probably at about 22 feet, which I freeze. And he's going to go hands-free while he holds the gutter up and then cleans it with the other. And then I started thinking, my brain works pretty quickly here. If he falls, he'll be killed from that height. Chances are he's going to break something. And given the angle and his height, he's probably going to fall on his head. So I loaned him the ladder. It was a Saturday afternoon. Everything's great. By Saturday night, he's paralyzed from the neck down, or he's dead. Now, I'm concerned about my neighbor, somebody trying to do something seemingly innocent and getting severely injured. I've got compassion for that. But, strange thing, along the way, I learned to have compassion for myself. And that means the lawyers are going to say, well, what was he doing? Guess what the next question is? Whose ladder is it? Okay? Now start thinking about every time you've loaned a tool out to somebody, or a truck or a ladder or anything else. Who owns this ladder? Well, it's Wes over there in that house there with the 220-pound English Mastiff. Don't worry, the dog's friendly. All right, well, where did Wes buy? Who's the distributor of that ladder? Who sold him that ladder? Who manufactured that ladder? You see where I'm going with this? In this particular case, one little slip, and this is going to cost me $250,000 in legal expenses. And that's not going to bring Steve back to walking. He has broken his neck. Fortunately, he's alive, and I don't know how because it was the hangman's break. So now what do? I like this guy. I like his family. Nice people. We've got mutual friends and neighbors. Everybody gets along. I said, Steve, the ladder that you need is at a work site, and it's going to be there for quite some time. You could your best bet is to go to Home Depot and rent one of their ladders, which is stupid advice because the guy's got no business being up there 25 feet in the air. This is the point I'm making. You're seeing one example and the liability involved. Guess what he asked me? You contractors know. Well, can I borrow your truck? No, you can't. You can't borrow it because my truck's not designed to carry a 40-foot ladder. Well, how are you going to get it here? You get a truck that's got racks on it, like you see them carrying granite. Or what, ladders? Maybe a long van that's got ladder racks on it. No, you can't borrow my truck. Well, you're going to tape it to the side of the truck? And then when you make corners, you're going to hit somebody? It's crazy. So I told him no. And I said, here's the solution. I don't know what he does for a living. I'm going to give you the number of somebody, and this guy's really good at gutters. And he's probably not going to charge you very much. He'll clean them out. And look at while we're at it, I'm looking at the condition of those gutters. That back gutter needs to be replaced. Why don't you have a professional come in? This is going to cost you a few $100. Here's the deal. You get to walk for the rest of your life. Good advice from Wes Taylor. And it's not because I'm some smart contractor or a really tall, handsome Cuban pool boy type. It's because I care. I care about him, and I care about me. In this case, no, you can't borrow the ladder. And if he gets mad at me about it, and that strains the relationship, I'm glad that it revealed itself at this time and not while he's laying in hospital for the rest of his life. And it could be something simple. We just sprained his knee. We got to have some surgery. Either way, I've got some liability here. And because I'm a good guy and I've got a conscience, so it didn't cost me any money. I feel terrible. Doc Holliday said in Tombstone, my hypocrisy goes only so far. Guys, welcome back to Right at Home Radio here on a Saturday morning, crisp little Saturday morning. Thank God there's a bunch of addicts out there in the front running a marathon. I love it. It's great. Keep warm. If I could go back in time, I think I'd be, it's very similar to contracting and being a builder and a carpenter, an orthopedic surgeon, because really all that is carpentry. All these people that are now these marathoners, and we love hiking and marathons. My body was destroyed when I was young through sports and carrying a guitar around my neck for years and being a builder and then bodybuilder and power lifter and all this other stuff. My back and my knees are just absolutely shot. And they feel pretty good in the middle of the day or when I've got beer going through me in the evening. But, boy, getting up is tough. I think I'd be an orthopedic surgeon. And I have an orthopedic surgeon. I've had orthopedic surgeons. I've got a great neurosurgeon. I got to get some work done on my back. And I'm in such great hands in this city. What a bunch of great doctors, nurses. We're here at Hospital Healthcare Capital of the World. As we broadcast out of Talk Radio 1510 WLAC and 98.3 FM. I'm so glad to be a part of this family and I will thank everybody involved. All right, enough of the accolades. Next week, we're going to finish up this fourth segment. You're going to love it. Next week, I believe we're going to have an in-studio guest, and he's actually one of our sponsors. And the content and the subject matter is going to be pretty cool. And we're switching gears. I always switch gears. I want to keep this thing informative to you and for you. And we should probably be Brandon Sweat of Revital Health and Wellness Clinics. Well, what in the world? Why is he coming there? He don't know nothing about tools. Well, no, neither do I in some cases. We had Steve Cropper, legendary rock and roller. He's like an uncle to me. We've had Steve on the air. I had him in here in this studio and did a great interview with him. And afterwards, it was like, well, what in the world does he have to do with, or before I said, why would you have him in here? I know it's a great interview, but why would he be in here? What does he know about tools? Well, because Steve Cropper owns every tool a human being could own. They're all top quality, and he knows how to use every single one of them. It's amazing. I go to him to borrow tools. Today we're talking about lending and borrowing tools. We've laid it out very simply. Beginning of the show, we did a little role play. I borrowed Ruben's laptop. I opened it up, didn't work. I said, it's broken. He said, you broke it, because I was being pretty rough with it. Two things happen. We're doing this entire show based on the premise that there's only two facts in the case. One, I borrowed the tool. Two, he lent me the tool. He's responsible. Then we talked about my truck. No, you may not borrow my truck. It's not the truck of old. It was not the one that sits out in the farm, in the corner of the field or in the barn, and Missy Lou's coming to borrow the truck. You got to take a bale of hay out, pat forward to get them cattle fed. That's not today's truck. Today's truck is a $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 piece of art. It's a piece of equipment. It has to work. It has to look good. It has to transport me. It's my office. No, you may not borrow my truck because I'm going to get it back dented or muddy. Just like when any of you loan out a boat to anybody, I've done that too. What a stupid thing. Of course, I was young. I was dumb. I needed the money. I didn't know what I was doing. So then we went into the example of a neighbor wanting to borrow a ladder from me. He has no excuse. There's no way he should be up on 25 feet up on a ladder. He falls, he gets injured. The lawyers are going to know whose ladder is it? Who manufactured the ladder? Who sold the ladder to Mr. Taylor? Guys, I'm not going to spend $250,000 of my money on lawyers because I didn't have the cojones to say no. The answer is no. And here, while we're talking about ladders, let's go to the next exposure that you carry. Here's the other angle. You got several angles here. We're going to cover this one. It has to do with a ladder again. It's a neighbor of mine, very good with tools, like a cat. Guy was great, could do anything on it at his house. Pretty good neighbor. And he said, "Can I borrow a ladder?" Well, absolutely. Good. So he borrows a ladder. He's had it for a week or two, and I went down and said, "Hey, by the way, we got to have our ladder. It's going to be a Saturday. I got some crews coming. We're going to finish up a beautiful big $1 million home in Green Hills. Well, I need to get my ladder. Can I come down and get it?" "Well, I don't have the ladder, Wes." "What do you mean you don't have the ladder?" "Well, it's at my mom's." "Well, great. Let me drive over there." "What's your mom doing with my ladder?" "Well, her husband needed to use it." And I said, "Now, hold on. I loaned you a tool, and a very dangerous one in the wrong hands, and you loaned it to your mom and them, which is a homonym like Eminem. Rhymes with synonym. It's holidays. We got to go there. So you guys smell the same problem that I smell? Now, so dude's mother's father has my ladder. Where is it? Well, it's out in Fairview. I was out there. I remember they don't have a garage. Where are they keeping it? Well, his neighbor needed it, so he's got it over there at his house. You've got to be kidding me. I loaned you my ladder for you to use here at your property, and you loaned it to somebody else who loaned it to her husband, and he loaned it to a friend of his. You telling me that my ladder has a chance it's been sitting? This is a very expensive 40-foot ladder. It's been sitting out in the rain. The rope that you extend it with, you pull on the rope, extends the ladder. The joints. I'm going to be up on this thing at 30, 40 feet, and you're telling me the thing's been sitting in the rain for 2 weeks? You're kidding me. That's a problem. The other problem with this particular borrower is he never returned tools, ever. You had to beg and beg and beg. And eventually I stopped loaning tools. Guy got mad at me. No longer friends. I'm good with that. If you don't have respect for my tools or me, you're not much of a friend anyway. The guy's house is a mess anyway. He doesn't have respect for himself. That's my emotions coming out. There is the case of a neighbor who wanted to borrow a saw. All right. What kind of saw do you need? Absolutely. Of course you can borrow a saw. They're not dangerous at all. What do you need? Well, we got a tree that came down and I saw you had your saw yesterday, and we thought that maybe that's a circular saw. It's an extremely expensive Makita worm drive. It's a precision instrument. It's an extension of me. I'm sharper than a plasma cutter when I'm doing this. I don't need a level or straight line. You're going to take this thing out, try to cut trees with it? You guys know what the term scotching means? Scotch? And I'm not talking about J&B. I'm not talking about brown water. Wish I was. If this was a nighttime show, we'd be sipping on it together. All right. So this circular saw, when you're cutting with a circular saw, the board can scotch, which means it's going to catch the blade and push the saw back on you. Okay? So they're cutting the branch, and the branch starts lowering and lowering and lowering because your cut's getting deeper and deeper and lowering. And then the saw gets caught, and it gets thrown back at you at the speed of light. The blade is towards your stomach, and it starts ripping from your breastplate down to your abdomen and lands on your leg. No, you may not borrow my circular saw. What you need is a chainsaw. Well, can we borrow that? No, you can't borrow my chainsaw. Go get one at Home Depot. Here's the thing, guys. All these examples. I don't carry insurance so that when I'm sued because somebody missed out, Home Depot, I know Joe, a good friend of mine, neighbor, Art Pancake, his family's. Go to see Joe. They have the very best tools there are. So does Home Depot. So these other tools, because they know they've got to be an incredibly quality tool because they know how people are going to treat them. You also could get the insurance, which I suggest to do every time. You don't know how the guy before you treated that saw or that jackhammer or that tile saw. Got another neighbor wanted to borrow my compound miter saw, $600 miter saw. Top of the line, precision cuts, trim, soft wood. You got to know what you're doing. And I said, what are you going to do with it? Oh, we're just finishing some trim out at the house. What they did is they used it on cement fiberboard because they were finishing some siding. Now, they cleaned it up to hide everything, but I found the dust in the gears. How much damage? Well, it still works. Yeah, but how much damage was done while it was in their possession? That's what I want to know. It's cumulative. It's like your back going out. It's not just one thing you did. In most cases, if not all cases, it's cumulative. It's built up damage. What's going on with the gears? You left my saw out in the rain? Well, I didn't. My mom's dad's sister's brother's daughter did. Well, what are you doing? Loaning my tools to your mom's dad's sister's brother's daughter. See where this is going? How about something simple? Let's make this really simple, what everybody does. I've got a neighbor. She wants to borrow a shovel. Now, it doesn't get any more simple than that, does it? Sure, of course you can. What are you doing? What are you doing with a shovel? Well, I got this tree root and cut the tree down. I need to get the ball out and the roots. So we'll fill it in with dirt, put some grass seed there. Not with my shovel, you don't. You don't need a shovel. What you need is a digging bar. Okay, you're going to take my shovel down into that ground on roots, and you're going to put your foot on the shovel like you're Popeye, and you're going to lean back with that stick. You know what's going to happen? That's right. That's exactly what's going to happen. Your little crack might break all the way, enough force. Maybe my neighbor's mom's husband would come and help her, as long as we're damaging other people's tools. So what you need is a digging bar. Now, I loan her that to do that because I don't know much about tools. I'm a dentist. I'm a school teacher. I encode medical for my boss. There's going to be a little crack. You put too much on that wooden handle, and there's going to be a little crack. That means it's fractured inside, and I'm not going to know that until I need it someday. And I go and I start digging it, using it correctly, put a little force on it, and then the handle breaks. Well, the damage was done when I lent it to her. Okay, what you need is a digging bar. And by the way, yes, you can borrow that. It looks like a spear. It's made out of iron. It's big. It's heavy, and you use that all day, and it'll make a Trevor Lawrence out of you. No, it'll make a Reuben out of you. You'll be big and strong. Of course, you won't be able to walk for a few weeks because you're going to be in traction. Love when that happens. Here's what we're going to do, guys. If we're going to lend and borrow tools. I could go through numerous examples, and I want you to write me if you'd like. Give me your examples. We'll post them, rights and wrongs, where you think I'm wrong, where you think I'm right, or just to say hi. Wes@RadioWest.com. Wes@RadioWest.com. Here you go. First thing, what I want to know, if you're going to borrow my tool is, okay, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it? How are you going to use it? Make sure you can make your decision to loan it based on the manner in which the tool was designed to operate and how they're going to operate it. That's one. Okay, what are you going to do with it? Second, when do you intend to use the tool? Well, come by Sunday and get it. No, you're not going to need it till Monday. We'll get it to you Monday. I'm going to use it on Sunday. Next, when do I get the tool back? This is a verbal contract between you and that friend, neighbor, son, daughter, whoever. Well, I should be done with it on Tuesday. All right, so can I expect you to have it back here on Tuesday? Yes. Now, if it's not back on Tuesday, you said you'd have it back on Tuesday. And remember, this is the most important of all. If you borrow a tool, truck, car, boat, laptop, whatever it is, you are responsible for that tool